Dear book lovers, welcome to another insight-packed book summary episode of Summarypedia. We are here to bring you more titles in less time. In this episode, we are going to explore the important and highly practical lessons from the book Storyworthy by Matthew Dicks.
Now, get this. The author, Matthew Dicks, is a 59-time Moth Story Slam champion. I mean, the guy is a legend. But the first thing he tells you is he wasn't born this way. He says storytelling isn't in his DNA. And that's the whole point, right? If he can learn it, so can we. So let's get into it.
So let's be honest for a second. Do you ever feel like your life is just too normal to be interesting? You know, like you need to have climbed Mount Everest or something to have a good story. Well, Matthew Dicks says that's where we're all getting it wrong. He argues that the best stories, the really compelling ones, aren't in these huge adventures. They're hidden in the small, everyday moments of change that happen to all of us.
I mean, think about it. That split second you realize your partner knows that secret you thought you'd buried forever. Or that moment you look at your kid and, whoa, they're not a baby anymore, they're a whole person. These moments are so powerful, but we just let them fly by. We're trained to look for the big, flashy Hollywood movie kind of stuff, and we miss the gold that's right in front of us.
Okay, so the big question is, how do we actually start seeing these moments? How do we train our brains to stop ignoring them and start spotting the stories that are hidden all over our daily lives? Well, this is where it gets really practical. Dicks gives us two simple, super effective tools to start building this new habit. First up is something he calls homework for life. And don't worry, it's not as intense as it sounds. We're not talking about writing a novel every night. It's just a simple 5-minute thing you do before bed. You just write down one single sentence about the most story-worthy moment from your day. That's it. But that simple little act starts to change everything, forcing you to look at your own life through a storyteller's eyes. And check out these real examples from his journal. Dog humped my leg at Petco. I prefer to write at McDonald's. I mean, come on, these aren't epic adventures, right? They're tiny, specific, kind of quirky little observations. But that's the magic. Each one of these little notes has the seed of a much bigger story, a story about connection or what you value or even love. The second tool is called Crash and Burn, and it's all about tricking that annoying editor inside your brain. You just set a timer, pick a totally random thing, and write. You just go for it. No stopping, no thinking, no judging. And what happens is you start digging up memories you completely forgot you had. For Dicks, this exercise helped him remember an incredible story about saving a boy from drowning. A memory that was just, poof, gone, until he did this.
All right, so now you've got all this raw material from your life, but how do you actually shape it into a story, something that's actually compelling? This next part is where Dicks introduces what I think is his most powerful and, honestly, kind of mind-bending idea. He asks a great question. What is Jurassic Park really about? And you might say, dinosaurs? But Dicks argues no, it's not. The movie isn't about dinosaurs. It's about a guy who can't stand kids learning to become a father figure and protect them. The dinosaurs are just the setting. And that's his whole point. Great stories are never just about the plot. They're about how a person changes on the inside.
And that moment of change, he calls it the 5-second moment. This is the absolute core of every single great story. It's that one tiny instant, literally 5 seconds or less, where a person changes. The instant they realize they're not afraid anymore. The second a mom looks at her son and sees a man. That is the emotional heart of the story.
And this really shows the difference, right? I went to Tanzania. That's just a thing that happened. It's an anecdote. But the 5-second moment in Tanzania when I realized I was no longer afraid of being alone, now that is a story. See the shift? The entire story you tell is just there to build up to and shine a spotlight on that one single moment of change.
Okay, awesome. So you've found your story. You know what your 5-second moment is. Now for the fun part. How do you tell it in a way that makes people actually lean in and listen? How do you keep them hooked? Well, lucky for us, Dicks has a whole toolkit for that too.
He lays out 5 really specific strategies to raise the stakes and create that all-important suspense. You can pretty much think of these as the secret weapons that storytellers use, and they're all designed to make your audience desperately wonder what's going to happen next. And really, that's the #1 job of a storyteller.
So here's a perfect example of what he calls a crystal ball. In one of his stories, Dicks lies to get some gas money, and when the guy goes back inside, Dicks tells the audience, I know what he's doing, he's calling the cops. He predicts the absolute worst-case scenario, and that creates this insane tension, because now we're all on the edge of our seats wondering if he's right. Spoiler, he's not.
and that makes what actually happens so much better. He also has this super simple but kind of brilliant formula for humor. He calls it babies in blenders. You just take two things that should never go together and smash them into the same sentence, like calling his own tooth-pulling grandmother a sadist. It's so unexpected and out of place that it's almost guaranteed to get a laugh.
I mean, these techniques are so practical, right? So let's talk for a second about the guy who came up with them. Who is Matthew Dix, and why is his perspective so important?
See, what's so cool about Matthew Dix is he isn't just some performer on a stage, he's an elementary school teacher. He actually uses this stuff with fifth graders, but he's also someone who has used storytelling to work through some really heavy personal trauma, including a violent robbery that gave him PTSD. So when he says storytelling is a skill you can learn, he's not just guessing. He knows it because he lived it. He learned it, he teaches it, and he literally used it to heal himself.
Okay, so let's put a bow on all of this. Let's recap the biggest takeaways from Storyworthy that you can literally start using, like today.
So here it is. This is your storyteller's toolkit. The big idea is to start seeing your own life as the amazing source of material that it is. Practice finding those little moments every day. Figure out what that 5-second change was, and then use these tools to share that change with other people. It's not magic, you know? It's a skill, and it's a skill you can absolutely learn.
And that's really the challenge he leaves us with, isn't it? What's a 5-second moment from your day today that's worth remembering? Think about it. Thanks so much for watching. And hey, if you got something out of this, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more awesome book summaries from Summarypedia.